Hey everyone, welcome back to Kimmy 2-1 Motivational. I'm your host, Kimi, and today we're tackling a topic that so many of us struggle with, but rarely talk about: the trauma caused by emotionally immature parents and how to heal from it. If you grew up feeling unheard, emotionally neglected, or like you had to be the adult in your family, this episode is for you. We'll break this down into 3 parts. 1. How emotionally immature parents behave with real-life stories. 2. The impact of this trauma on your adult life. 3. Solutions. How to heal and reclaim your emotional well-being. And remember, healing is possible. Let's dive in. Segment 1, what emotional immaturity in parents looks like. 1 o'clock, 6 o'clock. Kimi? Let's start with a story. Meet Sarah. She's 28 now, but growing up, she felt like she had to walk on eggshells around her mom. If Sarah got a bad grade, her mom would explode yelling, crying, and saying things like, "I sacrifice everything for you, and this is how you repay me?" Instead of comforting Sarah or helping her improve, her mom made it about herself. This is a classic sign of an emotionally immature parent, someone who lacks the emotional tools to support their child in a healthy way. Common signs of emotionally immature parents. They invalidate your feelings. You're too sensitive. Stop crying, it's not a big deal. They make you responsible for their emotions. If you weren't so difficult, I wouldn't be upset. They avoid difficult conversations. Changing the subject when you express emotions. Refusing to discuss conflicts. They guilt trip you for setting boundaries. After everything I've done for you, this is how you treat me? If any of this sounds familiar, you're not alone and what you went through matters. Segment 2, how this trauma affects you as an adult. 6 o'clock to 12 o'clock. Kimi, the way our parents treated us as children, doesn't just disappear. It follows us into adulthood. Meet Daniel. He's 35 and in a relationship, but every time his girlfriend expresses frustration, he panics. He either shuts down or tries to fix things immediately, even if it's not his fault. Why? Because as a child, Daniel's father had unpredictable outbursts. If Daniel made a mistake, his dad would give him the silent treatment for days. Daniel learned that conflict equals abandonment, so now as an adult, he does anything to avoid it, even if it means sacrificing his own needs. Common ways this trauma shows up in adulthood. 1. Struggling with self-worth. You feel like you have to earn love through achievements or people-pleasing. You dismiss your own emotions, thinking it's not that bad. 2. Fear of setting boundaries. Saying no makes you feel guilty. You tolerate mistreatment because you're scared of being abandoned. 3. Emotional suppression or overreaction. You either shut down emotions completely or feel overwhelmed by small things. 4. Attracting unhealthy relationships. You might unconsciously seek partners who remind you of your parents, hoping for a different outcome. But here's the good news: your past does not define your future. You can heal. Segment 3, solutions. How to heal and move forward. 12 o'clock to 20 o'clock. Solution 1, acknowledge and validate your experience. Many of us minimize our pain, thinking others had it worse. But emotional neglect is trauma. Recognizing that your childhood affected you is the first step toward healing. Exercise. Write a letter to your inner child, validating their feelings. Example: I see you. I know you felt lonely and unheard. Your pain was real and you deserved better. Solution 2, set boundaries without guilt. Boundaries don't mean you don't love your parents. They mean you respect yourself. If a parent guilt trips you, remind yourself, their emotions are their responsibility, not mine. Example: instead of answering every phone call, limit conversations to once a week. Solution 3, reparent yourself. Give yourself the love, patience, and care you didn't receive as a child. Ways to reparent yourself. Speak kindly to yourself instead of the critical voice you grew up hearing. Prioritize self-care not as a luxury, but as a necessity. Honor your emotions. Your feelings are valid, even if your parents ignored them. Exercise. Look in the mirror and say, I am worthy. I'm enough. I deserve love and respect. Closing and call to action. Healing from childhood trauma is a journey, but you don't have to do it alone. Key takeaways from today's episode. Emotionally immature parents shape how we view ourselves in relationships. Recognizing the trauma is the first step to healing. Setting boundaries and reparenting yourself can help you break the cycle. You deserve to heal and create a life that feels safe and fulfilling. If today's episode resonated with you, share it with someone who might need to hear this. And if you're on this journey, I'd love to hear from you. DM me on Instagram or drop a comment. Remember, you are worthy of love. You are capable of healing. You deserve happiness. Thank you for tuning in to Kimmy 2 1 Motivational. Until next time, take care and keep shining.